this is the one and only Mr. Jaz Dhami. Bhai ji, sat sri akal.
Sat sri akal ji.
Chote veer, ki haal chal?
बस भाई सब तो पहले सारे ने प्रेम भरी सत श्री अकाल नमस्ते ते सलाम मेरे वालों जी.
Hor sana, ki haal chal hai?
बस एकदम बढ़िया जी.
You're looking wonderful.
Thank you very much.
Okay, I must mention about the jacket. I'll get it out of the way quickly. We had Salinder Pradesi on the other day, and he'd had two jackets,
Okay.
Black and a red one.
अच्छा.
He wore the red one, made in Bombay.
अच्छा.
That's not the other black one, is
ये
it?
है कि बर्मिंघम से बनी है.
Ah.
हाँ जी.
ठीक है.
बर्मिंघम से खरीदी थी जी. देख लो जी.
It's smooth, man, just like you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. So where you get the smooth touches from not to the jacket, to you, because you are quite a bit of a smooth operator, really, aren't you?
जी मैं राम ना सब कुछ राम ना खरीदा.
Take your time. Sure. I thought maybe it's inherited from your dad, or maybe because your dad was a great Bhangra star.
Yes, he was. He was a singer for a band called Sangam Group, and also a dancer for Taranga Group.
Oh wow. The Taranga Bhangra Group, yeah.
Taranga Bhangra Group, हाँ जी.
Kya the Gurchan Mal Sahib used to be on the dole.
Yeah.
Balveer Khanpuri on the boliyan.
Yeah.
Bira Paji on the chemta.
Yeah, Bira Paji.
Still swinging that chemta. Nobody swings that chemta like Bira Paji as well. Tell us, what kind of effect did that have on your musical career? Obviously, later on you picked it up, but did you used to go with your dad? And
yeah, well, I used to go to loads of gigs with my dad. I remember when I was young, and just seeing him on stage perform. He used to be a musician as well, a tolki player, a drummer, and a tool player. So just seeing him play different instruments was an inspiration for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then when I was 9 years old, my dad gave me my first song, which is a Hindi song actually.
Okay.
It was from a Hindi film. I can't remember what song it was now. But pehli bari wo gana main ga sika main, and Dad said, I'll dictate the words for you.
Okay.
What I want you to do is baje de kad ke apne aap ga.
Okay.
And then I done the song.
So you sang it at home, not on stage or something? Okay.
And then after that, I was introduced to Ustad Ajit Matlashi from Birmingham.
Okay, we'll go into the Ustads bit, but I just thought, I think it's really important to sort of focus on the part that your family and your dad has played.
Yeah.
And we talked to Jaz Dhami or the Desi or whatever. Yeah. It seems that their fathers seem to play a great role in their musical careers. What kind of music did you used to listen to? Or what kind of music was played at home while your dad was just chilling?
My dad was really into Muhammad Rafi ji.
Oh, yeah.
Manik Saab bhi.
Ji.
A big fan of Manik Saab. And it was mainly Bollywood actually, surprisingly.
Okay.
A lot of, some Punjabi stuff, but mainly Bollywood stuff.
So you're more influenced through
by Bollywood side,
through the Bollywood side of things, okay. I mean, Jaz Dhami, we talked about him, and sometimes people get you mixed up.
Yes,
let's clarify that. This is Jaz Dhami, and although your hairstyle maybe is a little bit the same. Are you related? Gotiya. Sarnamiya, as we say in Punjabi, rather than Pendus as well. I mean, did you think, because he'd come into the market just slightly a little bit before you, I suppose.
Yeah.
Did you think of changing your name, or did you think of changing your style, or whatever?
No, obviously, Dhami is my goat.
Yeah.
Obviously, from a young age, I wanted to use my name as Jaz Dhami.
Yeah.
So I want to stick with that. And previously, before my actual projects, I was doing underground stuff for Gorele, like fusion projects. And I featured on there even as Jaz Dhami as well.
Okay.
But obviously, I wasn't put forward because of that stuff, because it's underground stuff.
Yeah.
But obviously, because of my release on Aman Hair's album, I got the recognition.
Yeah. Tell us about Aman Hair. Tell us how you hooked, because that's when I first, it was a huge album, first had the track, I spoke to Aman and thought, brilliant, but who's the guy? Who's number 14? I think the track was number 14.
Track 14,
and I thought, tell me, Aman, India to I am munda, he goes, munda, and then, I knew you before that, but vocally I hadn't heard you, and I thought, wow, blow me away. Tell us about how you got hooked.
Jada Jinjan Gana Siga, actually I'll speak to you about my introduction first. I met Aman Paji at it's a gig in Bristol. Jazzy B was performing there, and I sang my first Punjabi song, which is a song called Kalli Ke Melva Kalindar Tillo Vaji. He's obviously passed away now.
Yeah. Aman Hair production.
Aman Hair production. Yeah. And so Pellivari Gasiga, and my dad used to work with Aman Hair's dad in Leamington.
Right.
So undi kafi purane, obviously he's known him for a long time.
Yeah.
So I was introduced to him then, and then after obviously my university, we approached Aman to do my album. And then when we approached him to my album, the initial idea was to do 3 to 4 songs off my album.
Right.
And then he asked me to do Jinjan for the Ground Shaker 2.
Was that, did you pick the track, or did Aman pick the track?
No, Aman picked the track for me.
Right.
He gave me the lyrics on the same day, and the guide the vocal.
Wow.
And then I never heard the composition before. although he came my composition, then the guide vocals, and then after a few months we came in and did the main vocals.
Wow, and it's a huge hit, really. Put you on the map with a great track as well.
Yeah.
Jaz, we talked about I Knew You earlier on, and I remember I think you sang at Jagpal's wedding or something like that, with Apna Sangeet.
Yeah.
And your dad Bikar was there as well, and we were there as well. And I think you sang Aaja Papi Chudle. I'm not sure actually what track you sang.
It was Kalli Kite Mera.
Was it Kalli Kite? Might have been Kalli Kite Mera. And then Bikar goes, "Get down." I thought, good man, he's got the looks and everything.
Thank you.
But I thought vocally, you know, he needs. And tell us how you've looked after yourself vocally. You know, you've got more stars than I can actually write on my piece of paper. You know, the great names under there: Ajit Singh, Matlashi, Haridev.
Professor Haridev ji, Hanji.
Professor Haridev. So tell us about Matlashi ji.
Matlashi ji, I left Matlashi ji from the age of 9 to 16. ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਮੇਰੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਸਿੱਖਿਆ ਆਪਣੇ ਪੰਜਾਬ 'ਚ ਹੋਈ ਸੀਗੀ ਪ੍ਰੋਫੈਸਰ ਹਰੀਦੇਵ ਜੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਅੱਛੇ ਕਲਾਸੀਕਲ ਸਿੰਗਰ ਨੇ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦੇ ਐਂਡ ਦੈਨ I stayed with him for 2-3 ਸਾਲ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਲਾਇਆ ਮੈਂ ਬੈਠ in ਪੰਜਾਬ ਗਰਾਇਆ ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ obviously I completed my degree in Shastri Sangeet in India in Punjab Shastri Sangeet from Chandigarh University and then I came back to England to my studying here and then got the place at the world famous Paul McCartney School of Music and then I went back to Punjab ਆਪਣੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਫੈਸਰ ਹਰੀਦੇਵ ਜੀ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਮੈਂ ਕਾਫੀ ਮੈਂ ਟਾਈਮ ਸਪੈਂਡ ਕੀਤਾ ਵਾਪਸ ਫੇ and then after that I went to Mumbai to learn off Jai Shivaram ji. He's a playback singer.
At the age of 23 he's got more degrees than I think Prime Minister Manmohan Singh will be back after this short break. What's the first thing that a star like Matlashi Saab teaches you or Haridev ji teaches you? You know, you talk about Shastri music. We were talking about deep Sangeet here.
Hanji, hanji.
So give us a bit of a blast. Well, what does a star teach you?
ਜਿਹੜੇ ਬੇਸਿਕ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ ਆਪਣੇ ਇੰਗਲਿਸ਼ 'ਚ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸੀ ਡੀ ਈ ਐਫ ਜੀ ਆਈ ਬੀ ਸੀ ਆਪਣੇ ਇੰਗਲਿਸ਼ ਆਪਣੇ ਹਿੰਦੀ 'ਚ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ ਸਾਰੇ ਗਾਮਾ ਪਾਦਾ ਨੀ ਸਾ ਸੋ ਇਟਸ ਸਿੰਪਲ ਐਜ਼ ਦਿਸ ਸਾ ਸਾਰੇ ਗਾਮਾ ਪਾਦਾ ਨੀ ਸਾ ਸਾ ਨੀ ਤਾ ਪਾ ਮਾ ਗਾ ਰੇ ਸਾ it's very basic it's like the alphabet for English.
Right.
You have to learn the basic, which is Sarigama.
So once you get a degree, then what happens? Where do you go from the basics to?
This is Rag Malkas. I'll give you a short list.
Malkas.
Ni sa ga sa ni sa da ni da ma ga ma da ni sa ga ni sa da ni da ma ga ma ga sa ni sa da ni sa ma.
Wow.
See, Tana thodi.
Yeah, but that's brilliant as well. I mean, ਕਈ ਵਾਰੀ ਤੇ ਮੇਰੇ ਵੀਰ ਵੀ ਘਰ I know a couple of people I know as well. ਯਾਰ ਬਾਜਾ ਲਿਆਂਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਉਹ ਯਾਰ ਉਹਨੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਗਾਵਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੀ ਪਾ ਰੱਖਿਆ you know 3 ਮਹੀਨੇ ਹੋ ਗਏ ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੱਢਦਾ. I mean, but those are the basics.
Yeah, you have to learn ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸਾਰੇ ਗਾਮਾ ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ you have to learn that and before you obviously progress to your rags.
And is that better? Is it better for your vocals or is it actually just musically for you to?
It's better for your vocals because ਜਿਹੜਾ ਵਾਜਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਵੈਸੇ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸ਼ਾਸਤਰੀ ਸੰਗੀਤ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਉਹ ਵਾਜੇ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਪ੍ਰੈਕਟਿਸ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਉਹ ਤਾਮਪੁਰੇ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਪ੍ਰੈਕਟਿਸ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਤਾਮਪੁਰ is a four stringed instrument it's shaped like a sitar ਜਿਹੜੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਲਾਪ ਵਗੈਰਾ ਆਪਣੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਰਾਗ ਪਰਫਾਰਮ ਕਰਨੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਪਹਿਲੀਆਂ ਚ ਉੱਤੇ ਹੀ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਤਾਮਪੁਰਾ ਤੇ obviously ਵਾਜਾ is an instrument you can obviously ਸਾਥ ਦਿੰਦਾ ਵਾਜਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ for playing musical pieces so it's good for that. But originally, Shastri Sangeet is performed on a tampura.
And named after the great Tansen.
Yeah.
Kya baat hai. And they're just sitting there sort of picking the notes between the keys, I suppose.
Yes.
Could you say a bit of a harp?
It's like a harp, but it's ਆਪਣੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਤਾਂਬੂਰੇ ਦੇ ਸੁਰ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਦੋ ਸੁਰ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਹਮ ਵਾਜਾ ਆਪਣੇ ਵਾਜੇ ਤੇ ਪੂਰੇ ਸੁਰ ਆ ਸਾਰੇ ਗਾਮਾ ਪਾ ਨੀ ਸਾ ਤਾਂਬੂਰੇ ਤੇ ਦੋ ਸੁਰ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ ਇੱਕ ਮੰਦਰ ਸਪਤਕ ਦਾ ਮਦ ਸਪਤਕ ਦਾ ਤਾਰ ਸਪਤਕ ਦਾ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਕੀ ਬਾਤ so it's sa and it's lower pa sa pa sa re ga ma pa da ni sa ga re sa.
Wow, that's a class by Jaz Dhami in music. That's unbelievable. Okay, so you know your dad's taking your steps. Like I said, you got more degrees to your name, and you're only about 23 years old.
Yeah.
Tell us about the musical journey that you've gone through. We'll talk about the learning journey first before we go into your music as well. So Matlashi ji, then Haridev Sahab.
Professor Haridev ji,
Ji taught you the Shastri
Sangeet. And then I returned to England. And then obviously I got accepted at the Paul McCartney School of Music, which is absolutely amazing.
Let's elaborate on that.
It was it's basically an institute for performing arts based in Liverpool. They teach, they choose 30 students from around the world.
Wow.
And I was lucky enough to be chosen for one of them. And I think one of the main reasons were because I was into my Indian classical. And secondly, I play piano. I'm a grade 6 pianist.
Wow.
So obviously I had a fusion going on. So I could have brought something different to the table, and that's what they look for, not just the standard you can play piano, you can play a bit of violin. They look for different things, different cultures. Like a lot of people in my class, they were like some of them Brazilian, some of them were American, Norway, so it's very like diverse, kind of like different styles of music.
Yeah. So you took the Punjabi or Asian singing to that field. What do you produce? What did they teach you there?
Well, they were teaching me. I was learning production.
It seems like they wanted more from you than you did from them.
I was teaching. I was learning. Popular music and sound technology, but we had ensembles. These are band. They picked like 6-7 people in the band, and they just chuck you in like into a band, and you have to go into there and bring something new, bring a new sound. So you have to compose your music, write everything in terms of writing, arrangements, everything. And guitarist कहना मैं है मैं riff लोनी या मैं कहना मैं है ला पद्दा लोना. And then कोई दोस्त का मेरा I want to bring this piano in like this.
Right.
And then we had a female vocalist as well. So it's really a very different kind of approach to
really
music.
Diverse, I suppose.
Definitely.
Did you produce any? Did you produce an
yes,
album or anything?
I did. My final year project was actually do a sound recording.
Okay.
So we recorded in the band, we composed the music for the band, and then we recorded it professionally and mastered it in the studio.
Wow.
And it was actually it's one of the biggest studios, called the St. George's Studio.
Okay.
It's a huge studio in Lipa.
I mean, such a young age, you've had a lot of experience. And then obviously you went to the great Amar Haldipuria Sahib, which is a phenomena in the music world, and Jay Shri his wife. Tell us about that experience. What did you learn from there? How did you get there first, I suppose?
Okay, I got there. Apne jere Amar Sidhu uncle ji based in Birmingham is a very good family friend.
All right. Okay.
I can honestly say he's the guy that put me in touch with Jay Shri and Haldi.
Responsible for you.
Yeah, he is definitely. Because I wanted a different sound. Because it was mainly classical. So I wanted. My dad said to me, "Ke ye tu Punjabi gona theek ya?" Because Punjabi to main bhi sikha sakda. But the thing is, if you want the Bollywood side of things, which I was obviously aiming towards, you have to go to Bombay.
Right.
But Daddy went to Bombay because obviously Amarjit Sidhu uncle ji introduced me to Amar Haldipur ji, who was a very good friend of Amar ji. And then one of the car reha main apne bachcha wangu rakhya menu. Even Professor Haridev ji menu kar bachcha wangu rakhya jo pind ch hunda siga main. And it's just when I was going to India, I was really looked after and pushed into that direction, and I think that really helped me in terms of my vocal ability and musical knowledge. Because being surrounded around stars, Jisa Matlashi ji, Professor Dev ji, Amar Haldipur ji, and Jayashri ji, being just involved around them, you learn so much.
Yeah. And Jagjit Singh lying down on the floor somewhere. You're telling me a story about Jagjit Singh, the great ghazal, phenomenal. Tell us a little about that story, because I think it's quite funny.
Because Amar Uncle ji, Hardipul ji, and Jagjit Singh ji, they've actually got a partnership with a studio in India, Sangeet Studios based in Andheri, Mumbai. And काफी थे होंदे जांदे सिगे, so अपनी दा काफी कार वर्गी अपनी गल लिया. And just sitting down with him whilst he's mixing on पिछे सुते होना, I'll be just sitting down just watching की हो रहा, recording किद्दां हो रही है, बाकी जेडे musician आए होया, mixing किद्दां हो रही है. Just being around that society, being around them people, you learn so much. So it was absolutely amazing just meeting Jagjit Singh, because I've been listening to him since वो गाना केड़ा सी अपने
कागज की किश्ती, कागज की किश्ती,
वो भी सीगा टाई दिन ना जवानी चढ़ दी,
हाँ बिल्लो ने तेरे गोरे रंग ने from the long da lashkara, टाई दिन ना जवानी ना, I think कुर्ती माल दी, do you know
I don't know that song, I've heard it, याद है मैंने
yeah, but yeah, amazing singer actually, Jagjit Singh. It's nice actually to see that the Punjabi sort of people there still looking after it, but like I said, you've gained this huge wealth at such a young age. Do you think that gives you the grounds now to stand up and say, I am Jaz Dhami?
नहीं जी, पता ही गल है जी, I will never be like that, because जड़ा music है, you can never learn music, है ना, सीखी जांदा, आज भी मैं कह सकता, I'm still learning music, डर के मैं कहना, and it will never be the case where I'll say I've learned. And that will be the case that मैं होर सीखना, होर चाहते मैं होर जाके सीखा, बॉम्बे जाके होर मैं उस्ताद ना बैठा मैं, and learn more. That's what.
No, I think we want you to perform more, rather than होर ना तू बॉम्बे जाके उस्ताद ना तो कोल बैठ जाए. We're all looking. We're all looking for Jaz Dhami. Just give us one of your sort of, obviously Take Your Wally's been out, and before that, which one out of the three is your kind of favourite track?
It would have to be Take Your Wally.
Okay, well, would you give us a little blast, because obviously released as a single, the video's out.
डाट बोतला दी पट्टी हाँ नितनी तेनू वेखे बिना लगदा ना चितनी हुसन तेरे दा चल गया जादू हुसन तेरे दा चल गया जादू दारू विच प्यार मिला दे आने ठेके वाली नहीं चढ़दी सानू नैना विच कट पिड़ा दे आने ठेके वाली नहीं चढ़दी सानू नैना विच कट पिड़ा दे आके सामने जदों तू मेरी खड़ गई बण सपनी तुसी नहीं उत्ते लड़ गई आके सामने जदों तू मेरी खड़ गई बण सपनी तुसी नहीं उत्ते लड़ गई साडा लगदा ना जी नी तू कर दिता कि बाह गोरियां गले दे विच पा दे हाणे ठेके वाली नहीं चढ़दी सानू नैना विचों कुट पिड़ा दे हाणे ठेके वाली नहीं चढ़दी सानू नैना विचों कुट पिड़ा दे.
Yeah, thank you for inviting us all to your launch party. It was a phenomenal time, and I said to my wife, I said, "मैं होर किसे दे जावां ना जावां, बस साडा Jaz."
Thank you, Pa.
You know, we're going to support him from a young age. We've seen you flourish, and I think it's so important that you keep your feet firmly on the ground, which are.
Yeah.
Do you feel a bit hindered that your dad or your parents are there at these sort of, and it doesn't really give you the chance to explore the full kind of the nightlife that you possibly would like to?
No, because I take my dad everywhere. Apna live jede program hunda my dad always goes with me, and the thing is I feel comfortable when my dad's there, so it would never affect me. It doesn't really affect me.
Yeah. So is he there on listening?
Yeah, most of my gigs.
And then so what kind of conversation do you have on the way home?
Just where I can improve, where there's room for improvement, and obviously in terms of song, like gaha ki karna si. So we also have them.
Do you feel our parents a bit overcritical of us?
It is, but it's constructive criticism.
Is it?
Very, yeah. I think it's to progress. You need that. You need that, especially being an artist. If there's no one pushing you, obviously I'm very self-motivated. But if there's no one pushing you in that direction, it's just, I don't know. It's just having that. I think it's a psychological thing as well. If you've got that push, na banda hor chanda ke ye main hor bhi kara.
Yeah, that push, that little bit of dar as well.
Dar to hunda hi hai. माँ पे तो डर होना चाहिए डर माँ पे
होना चाहिए. Yeah. You know, it's like, I mean, Michael Jackson, a great artist, passed away, but you know, you hear about how their dad pushed him and their dad did this. But I think sometimes we may mainly get that through our families, and ਜਿਹੜੀ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਹੁਣ ਗੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਚੰਗੀ ਲੱਗਦੀ, ਉਸ ਗੱਲ ਦਾ ਸਵਾਦ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਬਾਅਦ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਕਿ ਯਾਰ ਡੈਡੀ ਠੀਕ ਹੈ, you know, ਮੇਰੇ ਡੈਡੀ ਨੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਪੜਾਈ, ਉਹ ਵੀ ਡੰਡੇ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ, and I used to hate going to Punjabi school. ਪਰ ਮੈਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਇੱਕ ਇਹ ਸ਼ੁਕਰ ਕਰ ਸਕਦਾ ਕਿ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਇੱਕ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਜੇ ਦਾਤ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਆ, ਉਹ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਦੀ ਦਾਤ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਹੈ, and I'm very grateful for that. You know, musically, album, how do you select the tracks for your album? Obviously your dad plays a great part, we know that. But do you ever say, actually Dad, no, I don't like this one, I want this one?
I do. ਜਿਹੜੇ ਜਿਹਦਾ simple ਗਾਣੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ, very ਜਿਹੜੇ ਆਪਣੇ UK based ਤੇ ਗਾਣੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ, I select them myself because I know ਕਿ my crowd ਕੀ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ. But the very deep ਜਿਹੜੇ ਗਾਣੇ ਆ, I leave it to my dad. I'll say to my dad, look, Dad, ਇਹ ਮੈਂ ਗਾਣਾ ਲਿਆਂਦਾ, what do you think of it? I always take my dad to every all my writers' houses because it's very important, because ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਸਮਝ ਆ, it's the 80s, 90s, and that's where Punjabi was the core, you know? So I always have my dad's opinion on every song I do, especially Theke Wali. Theke Wali was actually done.
More for your dad.
It was the first song we did actually. We recorded, me, Aman and my dad. Aman पाजी दे घर बैठे सीगे, and कहते एक गाना हमें तो गए Theke Wali करके, and ਅਸੀਂ बैठे, and he actually sang the song to us on the Vajja, and my dad was like, "एक गाना करना, एक गाना," and that day we said it, "एक गाना hit to होना." And obviously it's very difficult to say a song is going to be a hit. We were so confident in that song at that point, and this is going back 3 years ago, because we started the album 3 years ago. But at that point we were so confident कि ये गाना चलना, and the result was obviously really successful. So I'm really proud of that.
What about the rest of the songs?
The rest of the songs, जिदा एक गाना में कीता टेसी पाजन लिखिया, it's a song called बड़ी देर होगी बीरिया कट्ठे बह की पीती नो. It holds a lot of sentimental value because ਜਿਹੜੇ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਨੂੰ ਇੱਧਰ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਆ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਕਈ ਬੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਗੀਤ ਗਾਏ ਹੋਏ ਆ, ਹੈਨਾ, ਪਰ there's never been a song ਜਿਹੜੇ ਇੰਡੀਆ 'ਚ ਬੈਠੇ ਆ, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਉਹ ਬੈਠੇ ਇੰਡੀਆ 'ਚ, and the people they're struggling, their dads, their brothers have come to England, ਕੰਮ ਕਰਨ ਨੂੰ, ਇੱਥੇ ਨੌਕਰੀ ਕਰਨੀ ਪੈਂਦੀ ਆ, ਫੈਕਟਰੀ 'ਚ ਜਾਓ, ਇਹ ਕੰਮ ਕਰੋ, ਉਹ ਕੰਮ ਕਰੋ, ਟੁੱਟ ਭੱਜ ਕੇ ਕਮਾਈ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ, and but obviously people in India appreciate that, but they miss their parents. I mean, they miss their dads or ਉਹਦੇ brothers. So ਉਹ ਗਾਣਾ ਟੇਸੀ ਭਾਜੀ ਨੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਵਧੀਆ ਲਿਖਿਆ. ਮੈਂ ਦੋ ਲਾਈਨਾਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਜ਼ਰ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹਾਂਗਾ. ਢੇਸੀ ਇੱਕ ਦਰਦ ਜੁਦਾਈ ਤੇਰੀ ਦਾ ਸਾਥੋਂ ਲੁਕਦਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਲੁਕਾਇਆ ਕੁਝ ਸਮਝਾ ਦੇ ਰੋਂਦੀਆਂ ਅੱਖੀਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਵਤਨੀ ਫੇਰਾ ਕਿਉਂ ਨਾ ਪਾਇਆ ਦੇਸ਼ ਅਫਗਾਨੇ ਲਾ ਲੈ ਡੇਰੇ ਵਤਨੀ ਦੱਸ ਕਦ ਪਾਉਣੇ ਫੇਰੇ ਹੁਣ ਤੱਕ ਕਈ ਸਾਲ ਬੀਤ ਗਏ ਮੁਲਾਕਾਤ ਕੀਤੀ ਨੂੰ ਬੜੀ ਦੇਰ ਹੋ ਗਈ ਵੀਰਿਆ ਬੜੀ ਦੇਰ ਹੋ ਗਈ ਵੀਰਿਆ ਇਕੱਠਿਆਂ ਬਹਿ ਕੇ ਪੀਤੀ ਨੂੰ ਬੜੀ ਦੇਰ ਹੋ ਗਈ ਵੀਰਿਆ ਇਕੱਠਿਆਂ ਬਹਿ ਕੇ ਪੀਤੀ ਨੂੰ ਬਾਹਰ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਪੈਸਾ ਖੂਬ ਕਮਾਇਆ ਖੇਡ ਕੇ ਪਿੰਡ ਦਾ ਨਾਂ ਚਮਕਾਇਆ ਬਾਹਰ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਪੈਸਾ ਖੂਬ ਕਮਾਇਆ ਖੇਡ ਕੇ ਪਿੰਡ ਦਾ ਨਾਂ ਚਮਕਾਇਆ ਪੈਸੇ ਤੇਰੇ ਨੇ ਕਰਜ਼ਾ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਚੱਕ ਗਰੀਬੀ ਨੂੰ ਬੜੀ ਦੇਰ ਹੋ ਗਈ ਵੀਰਿਆ ਬੜੀ ਦੇਰ ਹੋ ਗਈ ਵੀਰਿਆ ਇਕੱਠਿਆਂ ਬਹਿ ਕੇ ਪੀਤੀ ਨੂੰ ਬੜੀ ਦੇਰ ਹੋ ਗਈ ਵੀਰਿਆ ਇਕੱਠਿਆਂ ਬਹਿ ਕੇ ਪੀਤੀ ਨੂੰ ਢੇਸੀ ਦੀਆਂ ਰਾਵਾਂ ਰੋਜ਼ ਉਡੀਕਦੀਆਂ ਛੁੱਟੀਆਂ ਕੱਟ ਜਾ ਥੋੜੇ ਵੀਕਦੀਆਂ ਢੇਸੀ ਦੀਆਂ ਰਾਵਾਂ ਰੋਜ਼ ਉਡੀਕਦੀਆਂ ਛੁੱਟੀਆਂ ਕੱਟ ਜਾ ਥੋੜੇ ਵੀਕਦੀਆਂ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਲਿਆ ਨਾਲੇ ਭਾਬੀ ਪ੍ਰੀਤੀ ਨੂੰ ਬੜੀ ਦੇਰ ਹੋ ਗਈ ਵੀਰਿਆ ਬੜੀ ਦੇਰ ਹੋ ਗਈ ਵੀਰਿਆ ਇਕੱਠਿਆਂ ਬਹਿ ਕੇ ਪੀਤੀ ਨੂੰ ਬੜੀ ਦੇਰ ਹੋ ਗਈ ਵੀਰਿਆ ਇਕੱਠਿਆਂ ਬਹਿ ਕੇ ਪੀਤੀ ਨੂੰ
Wow, that's extremely touching actually. You know, ਜੇ ਪ੍ਰੀਤੀ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਦੀ ਹੋਈ ਫਿਰ ਤਾਂ ਤੁਰ ਪਊਗੀ ਜੇ ਬਲੈਦ ਦੀ ਹੋਈ ਸ਼ਾਇਦ ਥੋੜਾ ਧੱਕਾ ਲਾ ਕੇ ਤੁਰਨੀ ਪੈਣੀ ਹੈ But it's a bit of ਤੇਰੀ ਵੀ ਹੱਡ ਬੀਤੀ ਇਸ ਵਾਲੇ ਸੇ because ਤੁਸੀਂ ਵੀ ਕਾਫੀ ਟਾਈਮ ਆਪਣੇ ਪਰਿਵਾਰ ਦੇ ਤੋਂ ਤੇਰੇ ਬ੍ਰਦਰ ਰਾਜੂ ਤੋਂ ਦੂਰ so it
does hold up sentimental value it does because ਜਦੋਂ ਮੈਂ ਇੰਡੀਆ 'ਚ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ obviously ਹਰ ਬੰਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਆਪਣੇ ਮਾਪਿਆਂ ਨਾਲ ਪਿਆਰ ਹੁੰਦਾ and then when I went there it was very difficult for me to live out there and obviously I was with my ਦਾਦੀ ਨਾਲ ਸੀਗਾ ਵੈਸੇ ਮੈਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਪਿਆਰ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਦਾਦੀ ਨੇ but it's just that factor that my parents went there is very difficult situation for me but ਮੈਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਜੇ ਮੈਂ ਬਣਨਾ ਕੁਝ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ 'ਚ you have to give
That's brilliant. You had a really mature head on your shoulders for a young man. Growing up in Handsworth and you know in Birmingham and then having to go to Punjab and you know well done for that. You talked about going into Bollywood. You wanted to learn this art because of Bollywood, but you've obviously making your first kind of contact with us through Punjabi music. So why not just go straight for Hindi?
Because the thing is, jada apni maa boli hai ki Punjabi. I want to represent my Punjabi first and I will always represent my Punjabi roots because obviously I'm born in a Punjabi family. Secondly, Daddy ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਕਿ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਗਾਣੇ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਗਾਉਣੇ ਪੈਣੇ ਜੋ ਮਰਜ਼ੀ ਕਰ ਲਈ you have to sing Punjabi songs.
Well done, Daddy.
Yeah, so I'm always going to sing Punjabi songs but I have a passion for Bollywood music, for Hindi songs and that's what I want to head towards but it will never be the case where I'll say you know Punjabi gana main karne nahi hona because Sukhwinder Singh he still does Punjabi songs and he's an excellent vocalist. He's actually based in Bombay now in the film industry and Hindi gaane gaunde hai par Punjabi gaane haje bhi gaunde hai so it's never going to be the fact that I go away from that.
I was thinking that because you know sometimes when people learn art as much as you have learned your sangeet jinna tu sikhya sometimes shayad oh log Punjabi wal thodi ji they think Punjabi is a bit beneath as much as they've learned. I mean, how do you feel about the Bollywood scene at the moment, because that's very Punjabi-fied.
Very Punjabi.
But it's very tutti Punjabi-fied.
Very tutti Punjabi-fied. But the thing is, that's commercial basis. See, apne jede Punjabi, they've got that misconception that Punjabi is just dance music. And see, I want to deliver that in my music, that it's not just dance music. There's a touchy side to Punjabi music. It's a very emotional side to it. It's not just about apna tool phad ke apna bajao. It's good. It is dance music as well. But jeda apna emotional side of Punjabi, I want to portray that in my music. And I think in Hindi, jede Bombay they're not doing it because they don't know that side of that of music. But obviously, hopefully, I can do that.
Yeah, I mean, Bombay
Sardul Paji bhi karde, you know, Sardul Paji, and there's a lot of singers that do that. And but it's not getting portrayed. More nahi aa raha apne desi bhangra aa raha. So I want to try and bring that element in.
I'll have to stop here. Keda naam leta yaar tu? Sardul Saab, kya baat hai?
Kya baat hai?
ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਚੀਜ਼ ਚੱਕ ਲਓ.
ਮੈਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਿਹੜਾ ਗਾਣਾ ਕਹਿਣਾ.
You can guess? You know me that well?
This is one of my best songs. So.
Oh really? Okay, let's see if we share the same taste. That's the tune.
नाल जश्न मना ले खैरा दे मैं किवें सजावा दिल लड़िए जो लतड़ गई बिच पैरा दे मेरी जिंद गमा दिया जेला बिच बन के दिन गिर गई की करिए जे उंज गिरदी ता चुक लेंदे नजरां तो गिर गई की करिए जे उंज गिरदी ता चुक लेंदे नजरां तो गिर गई की करिए नजरां तो गिर गई की करिए कोई शक नहीं तू सोहनी है ना तेरा कोई इंसान नहीं है क्यों ताश वांगरा सबना दे हत्था विच घुमदी जानी है कोई शक नहीं तू सोहनी है ना तेरा कोई इंसान नहीं है क्यों ताश वांगरा सबना दे हत्था विच घुमदी जानी है तेरे मेहंदी वाले हत्था विच यो मेहंदी वाले हत्था विच जिंद मेरी गिर गई की करिए जे उंज गिरदी ता चुक लेंदे नजरां तो गिर गई की करिए नजरां तो गिर गई की करिए.
You've given us a couple of songs from the album as well, and you know I'm sure it's going to be a huge hit.
Thank you.
What's the sort of other stuff that you're doing with youngsters, because you've become a bit of an icon already for children? You working with the FA or something?
Yes, I am. I'm doing a lot of stuff with the Football Association. I'm actually employed by I'm going for the ambassador of the Football Association, basically encouraging young Asians to get into football and break down barriers and help them overcome the parental pressure they obviously suffer from. Because a lot of apne jede bande kar dinde nahi football ne kitte career milna bande nu. So I want to make that difference. I want to see the first Asian, Punjabi, jo marji hove, Hindu, Muslim, jo marji hove, I want to see the first to be in a Premiership team.
Wow, that would absolutely be awesome as well. I think maybe generation thode je change ho reha hon jane ki ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ you know their parents are fans and things like that. But I think ਇੱਕ ਗੱਲ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਹੈ, ਮੈਂ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਤੇਰੇ ਨਾਲ ਸਹਿਮਤ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਆਪਣੇ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਮੁੰਡੇ ਛੋਟੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਫੁੱਟਬਾਲ ਖੇਲਦੇ ਆ ਵੀਕਐਂਡ ਤੇ ਜਾਂਦੇ, ਪਰ ਆਪਣੇ ਪੇਰੈਂਟਸ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਪੇਰੈਂਟਸ ਡੋਨਟ ਮੇਕ ਦੀ ਐਫਰਟ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਦੇਖਣ ਜਾਣ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਵੀ ਸਾਈਡ ਲਾਈਨ ਤੇ ਖੜੇ ਹੋ ਕੇ ਸ਼ਾਬਾਸ਼ ਵੀ ਸ਼ੇਰਾ ਚੱਕਦੇ ਫੱਟੇ, whereas you know our English colleagues maybe they make the effort.
I think they've started to. They've started to, because I'm working with this young lad called Yan. Well, I'm not working with him at the moment. I will be working with him.
Right.
He plays for the West Brom team. He's an excellent football player.
Albion, okay.
And his dad really pushes him towards the game, obviously football. So it's good to see that they have picked up on it.
Yeah.
So it's the cookie. Obviously, hopefully, I can make a difference to that.
And I'm sure you will as well. What team do you support, by the way?
Liverpool.
Oh, Liverpool! All the United fans. Why not Albion? You know, like or maybe Liverpool, Birmingham City or Aston Villa.
It's the culture thing. They're really cultural.
Yeah.
And it's a really cultural.
And they got some desi japs like Steven Gerrard in there. I bet he listens to Bhangra music. What can you do? That's and obviously with your Sangeet, you're teaching music to youngsters, and I think I find that really good, really interesting. So tell us how that came about as well.
It's just giving youngsters the opportunity to learn a Shastri Sangeet, and because they have that age barrier thing as well. Okay, young kids don't want to learn off an older person because again we can't relate to them.
Yeah.
I feel I can relate.
Speak
English as well. It's the English factor as well. So I believe that I can help them because I can speak English, that's one. They don't all want to learn just Shastri Sangeet, they want to learn Punjabi, Hindi songs. So I can give them that element as well and teach them the core, which is obviously classical.
Yeah.
So I'm officially opening my school this year. Jaz Dhami School of Music. We're based in Albury, Birmingham.
Wow, that's brilliant.
I'm doing a lot of tuitions. I do a lot of tuitions already. Okay. But I want to open an official school which is dedicated just for music. Yeah. So there'll be like music academy where I'll be teaching singing. And hopefully Jayashri Shivramji, she'll be coming down to teach. So that would give them a huge opportunity to learn off one of the greatest playback singers out there.
Brilliant.
So and obviously.
Do you have any favourite songs of Jayashriji's that? You know, obviously a huge Bombay playback singer, like you said.
It's that छोटी उम्र है मेरी लंबी कहानियाँ हो रब्बा तू ही बचा हो रब्बा तू ही बचा. I love that song.
Yeah, she's a phenomenal singer actually, phenomenal singer, and like you said, and I think you can't forget that.
Never.
That's really good that you are passing that knowledge on, and I think it's sort of vital as well. Yeah. Just coming back to the album, you know, I've heard the album. It's so what other track that are kind of really obviously they're all your tracks and you love them all, but which one is really kind of another personal favourite of yours from the album?
Personal favourite would have to be a song called Tera Mera. It's actually a very sad geet hai वैसे.
Okay.
It's a Punjabi song, but jada music hai Bombay to kita because I've used 6 different producers on the album.
Right.
A guy called GV who's based in Birmingham, excellent new producer. PS Productions, Aman Hai Paji ne ten geet kite hai, Frantic Paji ne ten geet kite hai. And
has Cam actually put his name to them?
Yes, he has.
Because normally he doesn't put his name.
I made sure. I'm not gonna put my name on there. I'm gonna put Cam Frantic Studios.
Okay.
So I've put Cam Frantic Studios.
Wow, brilliant. So, okay, give us a blast of that track.
क्यों बीते नू पछताउंदी क्यों नैणों नीर बहांदी क्यों बीते नू पछताउंदी क्यों नैणों नीर बहांदी आपा विछड़ गए ताकि होया आपा विछड़ गए ताकि होया हुण रो रो बनना की तेरा मेरा मिलना रब ने ऐना लिखिया सी तेरा मेरा मिलना रब ने
Wow, that's
a really touching song.
Yeah, it's just awesome song. I'm just sitting there and thinking a young man, you know, has something. When you learn that, is that what the ustads teach you? That this is the geet de vich idna raag parna, dard parna, ya raag parna?
It's jida Amar uncle ji, they're very strict in terms of how they record.
Right.
They're really strict. So jida hai geet saga, they drilled me on the song.
Okay. Tell us about the experience of it.
He wouldn't let, because I dubbed his vocals once before. I gave him a guide vocal and he wasn't obviously satisfied with that, so he made me record the song again.
So he hasn't done the music to this?
The music he's done.
He's done it, wow.
And the composition as well.
Wow, okay.
The hook line was done by myself, but the rest of the lyrics obviously were written in Punjab, Nikka, Balo, Kivare. apne Punjab to. And then I gave the song to Amarji and said, to see eda koi rang banayo da. So they came out with a complete new sound and very different to what's coming out now. And I think we need that. I think for Punjabi industry, we need more of a sentimental side of the Punjabi music, because we don't have that. I think they're probably afraid of it. The only person I can think of that does it is Aman Hair and apne Shindabaji. I can think of from UK. So I think that element, I want to bring that element to the table.
Is that because of the fact of knowledge, having to sing that song in a more of a scale or on a complete budget?
I think it's the action. Yeah, it is. It's knowledge. Music jada jida composition hundi hai, baki Shinde Paji di hundi hai. You need a lot of musical knowledge to actually compose them. Especially this song. The composition is so rich and so different. There's so many different rags involved in this actual song. Because there's so many scale changes from major to minor and then back into major. It's very difficult to actually sing as well.
I mean, do you feel that maybe the door of Punjabi Sangeet is changing now? Whereas before it was more kind of, you know, the hardcore, and now when I listen to you, some of the other singers, they're kind of more kind of soft singers, really. Vocally, you're more softer.
Yeah, there is, but if you go look at it, it's gone a lot of commercial as well. Punjabi music, it's very commercial. So because a lot of kids from England, they can't actually understand all Punjabi words. So halke loves vartane pende. But the way you can overcome that is...
but the loves that you're using in that track are not halke.
Yeah, very,
you know, or in that pitti, you know, so...
but this is, see, I try and cater for all audiences. On my album, I can honestly say it's a very diverse album. It's not just aimed just at apne bachche. It's aimed at everyone. I've tried to aim for the... When the
bachche finished with the album, gone to bed, it's time for the... Siane, the album, to start listening for it. But tell us, you telling me about the track, how your dad says, you know, Bombay, record them in Bombay. What's the different experience of recording vocals?
My dad's very, very selective on my vocals. He'll comment on every little thing I've done in the song. He's very selective. So I've done my vocals in England. And both, from my point of view, badhiya ho gaya. But daddy kehndे nahi gaal nahi bani. He goes, you have to go to India and do it.
Right.
And I think ithe bhi kar sakde ya, but I think uthe da mahol is different ya.
Okay.
And plus Amar uncle ji, I think he really trusts Amar uncle ji. Obviously, I've worked with Aman Hair, he really trusts Aman Hair, kind of frantic as well. But it's something...
Well, he's your star.
He's my star.
He's your father, he's your second father, I suppose.
Exactly, and Jayashu ji, uni kiya sega, ke jode main vocal hai, you're not pulling it up from my album until I hear the main vocals.
Wow.
So I had to go over there and show them the vocals, and they said, look, we can rectify this in this way, and we recorded all the vocals again.
Extremely lucky. I think you're blessed. You're blessed to have all that. And what is he like? Does he say, "Jaz Dhami, get out," or you know, how? When you said he's hard, what do you mean by that?
He's very strict. He'll get me up, same as my dad. Your dad sent you from India, from England to learn. He goes, he's putting you up in hotels and whatnot. He goes, you have to practice. Your job is to practice and give something back to him. So he makes me work.
Wow,
he really makes.
And what if you don't perform in the studio sometimes? Do you get those moments?
Yeah, you do get the moments. Well, I'd rather not go through them.
Take us through that.
Upset moments.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, upset moments. You think, how can I rectify this? But it's that he gives me that motivation. If you guys we were talking about it before, he gives me that push to say you can do better. And then because he says that to me, I feel like I can do it. And when I'm in that booth, I'm going to do it. I'm going to make sure I nail this song. And I do.
And I suppose because obviously if you do vocals with him, he's got the ear where he's heard so many singers, himself, his wife, and he knows when it's right. And I think that's why sometimes I do say to people, if you are going to produce an album, you know, do justice, trust someone that who will do. It's not good. I think you should believe them.
Yeah, you should. You should never comment on what my music director says. If that was in Bombay, the singer would have been used. Right. You can never comment on what the director is doing. I can never ever comment on to my uncle and say, "Ki main aida karna." He'll be like, "No, I know my job, and you do your job, which is singing." He puts me right, so which is good. It's very good. It motivates me even more to do even better.
Right.
So I'll make sure I'll do my
absolutely brilliant. Just before we go, obviously you've been in India, you've been here, you've been there, and you have a huge following. What kind of wife would you like?
A very simple Punjabi wife.
I'm just thinking, okay, tu sadda bhi putter lagda, sadda bhi munda lagda. We do resta here all the time, but nobody's come back to us. But as an artist, I just wonder what artists' wives are like.
Very simple and just
because I get it in the neck at home all the time.
It's very grounded wife, humble. someone that respects me and my parents.
Yeah.
And respects what I do.
Would you go to India to get married, or I know you maybe haven't thought about it.
I haven't thought about it.
I could just bounce that off you really.
I think it would have to be someone from England.
Right.
Because you can relate to him as well.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay, well let us know. Send us a card when you're ready. What's for future for Jaz Dhami? So this is a Punjabi album. It's come out. Congratulations on all that.
Thank you.
And I'm sure it is doing really well, and it's going to do even better. Is it Hindi next in the pipeline then, or?
Well, I'll always touch upon. I'm still trying to touch upon my Hindi singing. I'm still learning. But I will try and do something. My main aim is to get into Bollywood. Of course. Hindi film che. I want to become a playback singer, or even sing one Bollywood song, but not Punjabi, a Hindi song, just to show a different side of me, because a lot of people have seen more of the Punjabi side of me, so I'd rather see them see a different light to me. Because I always try and do something different. Every time I get a track produced or release a track, I like it to be different. For example, Jinjan, like I was saying before, Sona Munda, then Tekiwalis, and then obviously Tera Mera is completely different to Badi Der Ho Gayi. So I try and deliver something new every time, and I want to continue doing that and be noticed for that.
Kya baat hai. And Chardi Kala from all of us, Paramatma kare, and I'm sure you're going to do really well. But Sariyan de Dawaan tere naal, and it's absolutely been an honor meeting you. Such a young man, but with such a mature head on your shoulders, and of course your dad behind you as well, with the thappad just in case. Just thank you, and there's a message for you, and please sing us out.
I want to say thank you to everyone, to all my fans. Hopefully you've gone on board on the album. Thanks for your love and support. I'll sing you out with my first song I ever sang, which is Sadi Jinjan. And I'll say thanks to Aman Herza for giving me the opportunity to sing this song as well. तू ही साडी जिंद तू ही जान नी कुड़िए तू ही साडी जिंद साडी जान तू ही साडी जिंद तू ही जान नी कुड़िए तू ही साडी जिंद साडी जान साहां विच तू राह विच तू बुल्लिया ते तेरा नाम तू ही साडी जिंद तू ही जान नी कुड़िए तू ही साडी जिंद साडी जान तू ही साडी जिंद तू ही जान नी कुड़िए तू ही साडी जिंद साडी जान